Oh, yep, I got it. Uh, to take a breath and get comfortable, which is probably easy because we're all probably home in our favorite spot, our favorite chair or whatever. So take a breath and get comfortable. And I'm going to invite you to invite your divine form into this gathering. For you, that may be a God, a guide, angels, whichever you naturally connect to. You may also simply think of the divine in the form of energies or nature, or you may just be as you are. But we invite that sacred presence into our gathering, our heart, and our soul right now. And Maddie, if you'd play our first song for us. We cannot attain the presence of God because we are already totally in the presence of God. What's absent is awareness. Welcome everyone to this gathering and this awareness that we are in the presence of the divine working through us, doing its magic right here on earth. That quote is from Richard Rohr in his book, What the Mystics Know. He's a Franciscan priest and the founder of the Center for Action and Contemplation in New Mexico. And I'll repeat that. We cannot attain the presence of God because we're already totally in the presence of God. What's absent is awareness. And I discovered that quote actually after I wrote this message, but it really sums up what religious science is all about, what my talk is all about. We already have it all within us to live a wonderful life, be a great human being. Being aware is the key to expanding and embracing and enjoying this life right here and right now. So did anyone make a New Year's resolution? Yeah? No? Well, how's it going so far if you did? We are 1 week into it. Do you remember it? New Year's resolutions are often set to bring in awareness to something we want to attain or do, whether it's, lose weight, travel more, quit a bad habit. You know the drill of New Year's resolutions. And the power to change our situation is always within us. We know that. We don't have to wait for a certain time of year, but sometimes we just need a little reminder, a new thought for us to do that. And typically this time of year can be that time. I heard some research the other day that said they polled people ages 18 to 34 years old, and 80% of them, of the people polled, said yes, they made a New Year's resolution. And of the top 5 categories, there are a couple that may or may not surprise you. Along with the standards, there was fitness, finances, and mental health, but also a resolution to meditate and to grow spiritually. And I found this very interesting, particularly given that age group. And it really said to me that people are hungry and needing spiritual connection, spiritual ideas. So I think we are all on the right track here for sure. And whether or not you make resolutions this time of year, it's a time that a lot of us begin thinking about new goals or new intentions. So this Sunday, we are going to explore some possibly new ways to you to resolving situations, to come up with re-solutions, and reset our new year with the openness and the eagerness of beginner's mind. That's a lot of wordplay there, but it's not just to show you how clever I am. There is a purpose behind that, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. In our wonderful presentations last week, and if in case you weren't with us, members of the congregation talked about, I guess, what HCCL and this teaching brought to them. And Sue Dossel talked about hearing new thought in a new way for the first time, as having a new thought about something. Now I smile because I know we've talked about it that way here before because I've said it. But it reminded me, and thank you, Sue, that there is nothing particularly new, but a new way of hearing it can be just the ticket that makes it hit home for us and bring about more meaning and more action. And Catherine also touched on that when she said she'd heard, great ideas from the speakers at church, and she'd write them down and she'd go home and open a book and she'd highlighted that very thought. And it kind of made me wonder about, the theme for this month is beginner's mind. And I thought those examples, thank you both very much, made me wonder maybe we're always in beginner's mind until something rings a bell enough to make us remember it. And better yet, to take action for something better, to ring that bell within ourselves. And it's common, and that's the way it ought to be. So nothing wrong with that. So today, a new view on resolutions with the goal of finding new thoughts and how we want to feel and express our unique divine nature in this coming year. And it's okay if we want new things in the new year and new experiences. I kind of want a new car this year. But what I really want are new feelings about things. I want deeper spiritual experiences. I want to let go of anything that took me out of my joy or felt icky last year. And all that inner stuff, of course, is tied to our outer stuff as it appears in this world. So it's important to take it all into consideration. Now, Catherine also talked about finding ways to make spiritual practices new or more interesting and doing our best. No more, no less. The word resolution sometimes is hard for me because it seems very demanding. It's doing more. I'm losing weight. I'm never going to eat bread again. But of course, that's not going to happen. So we can get frustrated. A softer way, I think, to think of a resolution is a re-solution. Let me give you an example. Last week, and I don't know if Anne's here or not, I can't see everyone, but Anne, well, first of all, Anne, you gave me my new favorite phrase, world-class warrior. And maybe a topic for next time, I could just see it like, are you a leader of the WCW, the world-class warrior of wrestling? So that kind of cracked me up. But also what I heard was Anne talk about a difficult situation with an extended family member. And I had to gasp a little bit because so much of what she said, I could relate to. A very, very similar situation had happened with me. And it had been going on for a number of years, as Anne mentioned in her situation, but it came to a new head a couple months ago. So I had a new thought about this. It was a thought I had, but to share with you. And at the time, it came to a head so much so that I thought I might never, ever be able to return to this home. Kind of like Anne said, I had to just walk away. And that would be a resolution to the problem. But because there are other people in this home that I love and I want to keep in touch with, I didn't really feel like that was a solution. Yet I knew something, I had to do something. I read that self-protection is learning how to take a pause between what you feel and how you react. Self-protection, taking a pause between what you feel and how you react. And my first reaction, to walk away and never again. But I needed to take a pause before I reacted that dramatically. So it came to me that really I needed a re-solution. Little play on words, but it made a big difference on how I approached this problem. Because of course we know we can't change that other person as much as I'd tried over the years. So I let myself consider what would be a re-solution to this recurring problem. And after some thought and consultation with a friend or two, what felt like a stuck situation began to open up. I thought, well, one re-solution could be, I'm not going to spend as much time there when I visit as I have before, maybe one day instead of two. Because usually everybody's on their best behavior for 24 hours, it seems. Another re-solution, maybe I stay with a friend or someone else so that I'm not there 24 hours. And something about having a couple of new solutions to this old problem was so refreshing. I literally could almost feel myself exhale. Not almost, I did feel myself exhale all around this problem. And I put it into practice. When I went the last time, I stayed one day instead of two. I put a backup plan in place in case it felt better to stay somewhere else. So I offer re-solution as a way to look at difficult reoccurring situations, whether it be within ourselves or anything that comes up. It's a resolution that we might never have thought of before. Because sometimes we can get stuck. We say, I'm never doing that again. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to forgive. Nothing else can be done. Can't it? Maybe so. There might be a resolution. Now, pardon me. In order to come up with a resolution, we may need to resolve something. Resolve. See what I did there? Now, here's an example of what I mean by resolving. Over the past year or so, I've watched someone that I know who's usually very calm and doesn't cuss a lot, doesn't anger easily, become very frustrated, just like explosive anger over something really seemingly small, like dropping the lid of a plastic container on the kitchen floor, causing extreme outburst of anger. And it's unnerving to everyone around, right? But also of concern. And I finally got up the nerve to approach her and I said, I've noticed, to me, you get very upset over small things in this last year. And not only is it upsetting to people around you, I really worry about what that does to your health and your stress level when that happens. She's someone who has had some heart procedures. And so I'm concerned. And there was some silence. And then she said, I get so angry at those little things, not because I'm mad that I dropped the lid, but because it reminds me of how my body doesn't work like it used to. She's having some arthritis and some mobility problems. And she said, every time some little thing like that happens, it's not the little thing. It's that it brings up all of this, health concern and that I just can't do things I used to do. And I went, oh, that explains it. Solving the mystery of what was going on with her helped me be more patient, not get so emotionally involved in her anger, because now I know what it's about. So sometimes we have to resolve the mystery of what's going on underneath with someone or with ourselves in order to have a resolution. What's going on underneath it all in that subconscious, as we call it, our inner world that we may not know or be recognizing. And as the universe would have it, with its funny sense of humor, I was on a dog walk last Sunday about this time on public land so dogs could be off leashes. And I was pondering this talk had been whirling around in my mind. And I passed some people. They were a ways away, but they're two big dogs. One of them came charging up to my little dogs, and they were some kind of doodles, so probably friendly and probably just wanted to play, but nonetheless came mowing over Zora, and she's tumbling, and I'm trying to pick up the other dog and get Zora and dropping my leashes and everything else. And a woman finally came over and called the dog, and she said, sorry about that. And in the midst of it, I'm picking up the dog and the leashes, and I just didn't say anything and just walked on. And I heard over my shoulder, you'll get over it. And I was like, harumph, I will not. And or she might have said they'll get over it. I couldn't quite tell, but I just stopped in my tracks. I'm like, is that necessary? What the heck? Apparently I didn't give the reaction she wanted. I don't know, of like, oh, it's okay, no problem. Well, it wasn't okay. Yes, they were okay. They weren't hurt, but it really wasn't okay that they came charging up. And plus I was busy trying to get the dogs and the leashes and get the heck out of the way. So I don't know what was going on with her, but apparently I didn't give her what she needed. And so I'm probably the only one, but any little tiny thing sometimes just set you off and you're just like, Argh! About that. And it seems silly, but it sticks in your craw, as they used to say. Whatever your craw is, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm walking on, I'm going, okay, I need to change this. I need to change this right now. The next person I come to, I'm going to be extra nice to everybody on this trail. So the first person that came by was a bicyclist, and he said, oh gosh, they look like they're having a great time, to my dogs. So before I could even get any words out, everybody I came across was like, hey, What a great day. Yeah, what a beautiful day. So that worked. Yet still it was there, something. So I came to a beautiful outcropping of rock and I sat down. I went, all right, I need to resolve the mystery of why this is triggering me so much because it's ruining my beautiful day. And that's ridiculous. And I won't go into it was like that, the onion. We've heard that story of peeling the layers. And I go, what irritated me? Well, she was mean and she didn't need to be too. Okay, what's under that? What's under that? And I won't go into all of the layers that I came across, probably still some there. But I did when I kept asking the question and trying to resolve with each clue. What's the next clue? Kind of like a good mystery that we read or watch. What's the next clue? It always leads to something else, right? It leads to the whodunit. And so what came to me, and it's a little embarrassing to admit, but that when I boiled it down, I'm like, she hurt my feelings. And I went, whoa, where did that come from? I didn't expect that. I'm having this beautiful day. I'm having a great time. And this person I don't even know says something nasty to me. I don't even know why I care, but it hurt my feelings. And when I peeled that down, I went, why? Well, because I like to think I'm a nice person. I'm not always successful, but I really have that as a goal. And I want people to be nice to me. And she just wasn't. And that felt bad. And it hurt my feelings. And it felt a little bit childlike, even to admit it here, like a little kid, like, I didn't do anything wrong. It was her and it hurt my feelings. But when I resolved and kept going down, that's what came up for me. And in that, it gave me the opportunity for a resolution. That's something I can work with in my life. Well, why do I care about a stranger? Whatever. I can go more into that so that it doesn't come up again. So, like solving a mystery, this can involve being willing to dig into our subconscious, our past experience for clues, and it can be uncomfortable. But sometimes resolving to the root of the issue can be the first step in that resolution, and it makes it better for the next time around, and it gets rid of those triggers. I read, I might have heard one of you say it last week. Whoever said this, life is like a string of pearls. And life is like a string of pearls, and the consciousness is a thread that runs through it to tie it all together. And isn't that really true? Whether it's a positive experience, a negative, irritating experience, which of course is how pearls are made, real ones, right? A little piece of sand gets in there and irritates the oyster. And I thought, yeah, all these little experiences, but if we can remember that through it all is this God consciousness, this wonderful, beautiful light within everyone. And if I can remember that it ties us all together, that's helpful. So resolving and resolutions. And if you're willing, let's just take about 3 or 4 minutes and have a little brief practice of how we might experience this in our own lives if we choose to, or would not experience it necessarily, but use this. So again, I have to breathe because I still have the nerves and all going on. So I got to breathe. I've got to relax and come more inward. I think of it as looking behind my eyelids as opposed to everything out there. A breath technique I like is breathing in through the heart and out through the heart and in through the heart up to our third eye, that spot right between our eyebrows, and black out through the heart. But whatever works for you, just for the next 2 or 3 minutes to settle inward. A few just 30 seconds here. I'm timing, so I'll keep track of settling inward for just a moment. And if it's comfortable for you, there are some options. Bring to mind a situation that perhaps happened last year and you would like to resolve this year. Might be a family member, a coworker, an experience you had that you want to let go of, you do not want to carry with you into this new year. Possibly it's something you want to experience more of in this year, to feel and experience and enjoy this year. Ask your soul self, dear sweet soul, what can I leave behind, or what might I embrace to express more and most wonderfully and loving during this new year? Reveal to me anything that is limiting me now. With love and grace, can be small or big. And with that situation or experience brought to mind, let your imagination play a little bit. Have a brainstorm session with your heart and your mind and your soul. What is a solution I could try, either to remedy this experience or to bring something new in my life that I haven't tried? It can be wacky, it can be familiar. What is maybe one or two possible solutions I could try? Is there a new approach I haven't tried with a difficult person? Is there something new I can do if I want to bring more friends or love or joy into my life? We bring our awareness now back to this gathering, and that was a short amount of time. Maybe some resolutions came to you. If not, that's okay. This is just an example of how you might take this into your own meditation or prayer, something to work with, a new tool for the new year, to have a new thought. It is suggested to us by many theories of thought that we do something every day to take us out of our comfort zone, whether it's brushing your teeth with your other hand that you don't normally do, or something big, but something to push us outside our habitual ways of being and thinking, as a way to let your beginner's mind know that you're ready to think in a new way. You are ready to experience this year refreshed and revitalized. Rosie last week made a good point that what we hear out in the world right now that's the loudest seems to be the most negative, or at least the most contrary to what we believe or feel here. And she made it clear she didn't want you to proselytize on the street corner unless you want to do that. But she made a really good point about speaking out on the positive side of things. And I really do think that is something that we might take on as something new to do in this new year. Because it does seem another side of things is getting the loudest voice. So we might come up with resolutions on how we get this message of peace and love and acceptance and tolerance, all that good that God, that good God stuff in this world into our family, our community. Maybe, and when I had a resolution about this, I thought, well, it can be uncomfortable sometimes. It feels like we're preaching. I don't know if they still have the religion column in the paper anymore. Used to on Saturdays, I think. Perhaps you write a column for that section of the newspaper explaining New Thought and talking about how, hey, we're this center, and if this appeals to you, come join us. Maybe there are events where the Helena Center can have a little table and with information and visit with people, when appropriate, about what we do here. We are all creative thinkers, so maybe we put our imagination to work. We ask for guidance in our meditations. We ask the angels, how can we get more of this positive message out into the world? Because I believe Rosie was right. That negative energy gets the loudest voice, and perhaps we do have a responsibility to come up with a resolution, to put out another message, a new thought of the new year. And if that feels uncomfortable, find a resolution. Maybe it's starting a book group or inviting someone here or giving someone a subscription to Science of Mind magazine. I've done that before, but whatever it is, you might even think back to the first time you learned about this teaching or this way of living that involves participating in your life, taking responsibility for your actions and enjoying life. And however you found that, maybe that's what you share with people. Mitzi wrapped up for us last week talking about how much wisdom there is in this group. And that is so true. And that's why I wanted to share a little bit of the many things that all of you, how you touched me last week. It's a community. We're in this together. You're not alone in your spiritual journey or in this life. And if there is something you want to let go of in this year, something bogged you down, took away your joy, consider resolving the mystery of where that limitation may come from and come up with some resolutions this year. Joanna mentioned the angels, and they said, just pick one thing, let one thing be enough. You don't have to do everything. It's a good reminder for us doers. So may the idea of resolving a mystery into your behavior or a situation or coming up with a resolution to approach a decision with some new thoughts, deeper experience of self and the divine, may those all go with you into 2024. And most important, another thing Joanna said, the angels said, the angels did not make a mistake when they made you. All may be well with you. You may not need any of this. And that is absolutely okay because we really are perfect right where we are. The angels didn't make a mistake when they made you. Emma Curtis Hopkins, who taught Ernest Holmes, another New Thought leader, said, God is the good that is in everyone. What a powerful reminder. God is the good that is within everyone. And so, Maddie, this is queuing up to our ending song here, just as a little hint. I came across this song, and it's really kind of fun, and it's fairly new to me. I don't know if it is, and those of you listening to the replay, you won't be able to hear it. But it's by Andy Grammer, and it's called Best of You. And for me, I love this song because it affirms, what the angels know. There's no mistake in any of us. It affirms what I know about each of you. The best of me loves the best of you, and the best of God is in you. So, Maddie, if you would like to play this song, and the words should come up. If you want to sing along, feel free, or dance. I love that. I love that song. Isn't it fun? Again, it's Andy Grammer, Best of You, in case you want to look that up for those of you who aren't able to hear it on the recording. So from the book called The Pivot Year, the courage with which you enter today will become the fate you meet tomorrow. The courage with which you enter today will become the fate you meet tomorrow. So may you be ready to resolve, come up with resolutions, to reset, and go into this new year with love and joy. The best of me loves the best in all of you. May it shine in this new year. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Orlinda. Would you hold that book up one more time or tell us the title one more
Yes,
time?
it's called The Pivot Year. And it's been on a lot of talk shows lately. It's, I don't know, somebody was promoting it, but it's by Brianna Wiest. And I'll be honest, I don't know who it is, but it's a little bit like our Science of Mind magazine. It has a, a paragraph or two thought for each day.
Thank you.
And it was, gifted to me by a friend at Christmas. So we're all taking a day at a time.
Good.
Oh, that was wonderful. Okay, I get to do announcements, but I'm so excited about what you just shared in that song. I just love that. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, Orlinda, you did it again, girl. You really made a difference for all of us. Thank you. So let's see, announcements. I've got them. I've got them here if I can see them. And let's see. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you really take in what Orlinda shared. It's time and the opportunity to take 100% responsibility for what we're creating. We got this. And I love you all. My heart is so full. So on January 14th, we're going to be hearing Catherine. Yay. And that will be live, just to let you know. And on the 21st, Marilyn Hayes will be gathering money for Food Share, bring it to our live service. And then on, you have our Masterfully Mindful support group, which that resumes, and it's happening Wednesdays, beginning January 10th. And you can see that in the newsletter. Course in Miracles, Tuesdays, 1 to 2:30. David, so grateful that you're holding that course for people. I think it just makes a difference. Thank you. And then Charles, Mind Your Own Becoming. I encourage all of you to get on that. The course that Charles is bringing forth is really is a huge contribution. And that's Thursdays, 5 o'clock.
And Rosie, can I share on this Thursday in particular? I'm really thrilled that her name is Reverend Deborah Johnson. She founded the Inner Light Ministries in California, but she is extraordinary in the reality of the subject she's bringing forth to us. And a part of MYOB is definitely education on multi levels. And more than ever, the complexity of sexuality is a reality before us and how we define it. She's going to be speaking about the new pronouns regarding sexuality and how important it is for us to understand and not push them away, but to realize that it is really a significant evolution of realization of how complex the subject of sexuality is, and that understanding these pronouns will really give us deep insight into ourselves. So I encourage you to join 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Thanks, Rosie.
Thanks, Charles. And Catherine, do you want to talk about Family Promise? I think it's the 4th and 5th of March. Go ahead, Catherine. No, we can't hear you.
Okay. I was thinking it was the 3rd and 4th of March, but I could be confused. It'll be the Monday and Tuesday of the first week of March. So we have a little bit of time to prepare for that. Thanks, Rosie.
Oh, you bet. Am I missing anything? I just encourage all of you to keep the contributions coming. We're going to have some wonderful speakers coming up next month via Zoom. Will be Sandra Gale, and the following month we're going to have Kim Andrews, who's on the board of Big Sky Retreat, and just an extraordinary speaker and a worker for peace in the world.
Diane again with just her nose.
Pardon? What was that?
Nothing.
Oh. Okay, well, is there anything else? Anybody want to share anything?
I do, Rosie.
Please.
I just wanted to thank you. You have done a wonderful job for years now, setting up speakers. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You guys, we're gonna have we're gonna shift board members, the opportunity to have new board members. And you know, I was talking with Charles about this, and it's okay to have new perspectives and new breaths. So if in your heart you would like to get on the board of HCCL, don't hesitate. I know personally, I'm glad to make space and to step down, because we all can contribute. So put that in your hearts and your minds for what's coming. We haven't even talked about it on the board, but just encourage you. And you know what? It's a wonderful world. We're creating it, and we're doing it right here, all of us together. Let's make a difference in this world, in our own beings and our hearts, and go with love. And okay, I'll shut up.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. The annual meeting that Rosie referred to, we are required by bylaws to have it before or during March. So January, February, March. So be looking for information about the annual meeting. Orlinda, will you pray us out to a wonderful week, please?
Yes, absolutely. And a wonderful year. And that quote that I mentioned, it actually has more to follow. So I'm going to close us out with that full reading again. It's from the, excuse me, the pivot year. The courage with which you enter today will become the fate that you meet tomorrow. Will you continue to replay the memories of yesterday? Will you meet the moment and make the most of what is in front of you now? Not so that you might force your will upon your fate, but arrive fully into each moment as it's presented to you. You are exactly where you need to be. This is the perfect day to start your life again. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Orlinda.
Nice to see you all.
Oh, great to see you.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, everyone.
Thank you. Blessings. Thanks, Maddie.
Deb's gonna close it.